Gorgeous day. I'm toying with the idea, maybe next weekend or the next one, to check the weather. It might just be kind of the last minute to make the Sunday class out there, like on the shady side. I need to ask permission to make sure that. But if everybody took a parking place, and they can have mask or not, and if we're outside, we're 6 feet apart. They say that's fine without a mask. But it's a little bit of a slope. Anyway, I need to think about that.
Yeah.
Whether or not just to have more people come to class and be outside. We'll see.
Right.
It'll probably rain the day I need it to. It'll be nice.
No. Is Jill coming?
I don't know. She hasn't signed in yet. I think she's visiting her dad in Seattle.
Oh, okay. Well, then, the reason I ask is because I would come up here where she is.
Yeah, you can take whatever space you want.
Thank you.
First come, first serve.
Well, it's nice to see a business going in next door.
I know, and I'm wondering if that's community coffee. They used to be over near me, near SMU, and they were amazing. Just their community connection and how they had meeting rooms for people.
This one I read about in the Advocate. It's a nonprofit for women out of jail.
Okay, I think that's.
To employ.
I wonder if it's the same thing. This community coffee, that this great little place over by SMU, and you had meeting tables, and you could community organizations could rent this little meeting room, like you could in the library and things. They had great coffee and good stuff, but I don't know if it was that, but they were very community oriented. Then they moved, and they kind of moved over towards the pond. Then they were like in a truck. They were like moving around. I couldn't find them. So, but they've always been a nonprofit, so they may be this. I'll have to ask.
It's a couple. I don't know that we have.
Is this new? Okay, this might be.
They would like to have one, but I don't know. It's called Well.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, then it's not community coffee. Well rounded. I love it. It's really, that's what we're doing today, is we're getting well rounded.
I've seen a coffee place being successful without a driver. You know, always wish him well. Oh, I just want to scratch my head off. Oh, I can't touch. I just can't touch. I can't touch. And I'm breathing.
So I need to pass this.
You've got your own troubles with your password or something?
There what?
What are you having troubles with your password?
No. I need to, so I told people I'm needing to extend your password. You use that.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry. No, I was talking to myself. I don't have to do anything. I just can't do it on my phone. So I just have to write this on.
Are you saying that it's time to?
No, I'm saying your class pass, you only, you have left, you have some left, okay? But because of all the COVID, the expiration date blew out, and so I've told people I'm gonna let them use all their passwords for things during this time. So I think you.
Yeah, you said that at the beginning when I started back.
Right. And I just may not have pushed it long enough.
Yeah, I didn't know, where it was new.
I think you've got 2 left after, well, 1 left after today, but okay, I can't tell on this app, it just will not be. It won't do what I want to do.
All right. Figuring that out.
So what are we today? What's our avatar? Oh yeah, shake it up, baby, shake it up. Aha. Hey, Mary. Lisa, you're on, yay. So I'll repeat this when others come on, but I'm kind of using a lot of props today.
So we'll have a strap. If you've got a ball, tennis ball, lacrosse ball, spiky ball, doesn't matter. Otherwise, we can do it. We just massage the feet with the fingers. You don't have to have golf ball, works too. It's a little more intense. A couple of blocks and a blanket or two or a towel. But I'll repeat that later if you weren't on to do that. What are we today, Debbie?
Dog.
A dog. Loyalty, protection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, this guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's such a beauty. He's like a, what are they called? They're like a, some sort, yeah, wolfhound. Yes, a wolfie. I'm gonna lock this if Carrie shows up. I think it's just Debbie and me today. So get your, you've got time, 4 minutes. Take your time.
I didn't throw it out or anything. I just hit it on Saturday.
Oh, and it's sore?
And I couldn't, I couldn't put pressure on it.
Yeah, it's we get injured easily these days. What?
Oh, I just slow down sometimes.
Well, this is the class for you.
Yeah.
This is absolutely the class for you. Eileen has joined us. Eileen, I'm not sure you're listening, but and Sherry, strap ball if you've got it, some sort of spiky ball, lacrosse ball, tennis ball, or we use the fingers. Yep, whatever works, whatever the dog will let you have. And strap, couple of blocks. Yeah, the whole thing. Just the strap and the ball are extra, blocks and blankets. Debbie, you want a spiky ball or a smooth ball? We're rolling the feet.
Are they very soft?
No, they're not. They're very hard.
Oh, that's
All right. So, We'll try that. Oh, yeah, try that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll get you a strap. You get a block, a couple of blocks and a blanket. A blanket or two, however many you want. They're cheap.
I'm surprised the skeleton's not out yet.
Oh yeah, we got to pull him out. He's right out behind the chute. Yeah, he's Seymour. I'm surprised Caroline didn't pull him out. So
Okay, now, am I not right here? I'm not.
you're absolutely all right there. You're not in the camera. I'm going to be right there. We're far enough apart, and you're right there. So I love how the harmonic convergence, how when I plan the class, I plan it for me. It feels good to me. And then I get here and Debbie tells me what's going on with her. And it's like, by golly, she's going to think I planned the class immediately right for her. But I think that's not an accident. So this class is inspired by my teacher, Maria Hamburger, in the Tacoma Park, DC area. And that's one of the things I've loved about this COVID thing. I'm trying to look for the positive so I don't cry all day, but is that I used to take from her all the time. In fact, she was part of my teacher training staff in Tacoma Park in DC. And I just loved her take on it. It was always a little different, she just inspires me and helps me be creative. And so she was talking about this. So I've been studying with her online again. So it's been really nice. And we've been emailing back and forth and how cool it is to reconnect after this time. So at any rate, this class is brought to you by Vata. I don't know if you've ever heard of the doshas, you have because you're a massage therapist, DOSHA. Hey, Anne, good to have you. Get a block, 2 blocks, if you have it, at least one. Strap, if you have a ball of some sort, can be any kind of round ball. If not, we can use the fingers. If you can tilt it down, Anne, I'd love to see your lovely face, but you don't have to come on camera if you don't want to. So Vata is one of the doshas. It's Ayurvedic practice, and there's Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. Now Vata kind of runs the other two, huh? You're Vata anyway? Yeah, and so let's see, if somebody comes to the door, you can unlock it for them, because I just saw a car go by, but I don't know that they pulled in. So Vata is associated with air and space. There's a lightness to it. There's a dryness to it. It governs movement in the mind and our thoughts, and movement in the body. It governs, of course, elimination, air, make wind, yeah. So it's part of what moves it through us. The breath, of course, that would be natural. And as we said, the movement of thoughts across the mind. Because of Vata's association with the nervous system, it's often reflected also in our mental. So when it is in balance, we tend to be enthusiastic, not crazy, not manic, but enthusiastic, right? I mean, I know sometimes I just can't work up enough enthusiasm to make a meal. So that's kind of a lack of Vata in many ways. Tend to be enthusiastic, imaginative, funny, quick to learn. Our brain is focused, and our spiritual self is balanced and calm. So in the fall and the early winter, that's Vata's main season. Vata can go out of balance any season, but it's particularly troublesome not troublesome, it can particularly kick out of balance in the fall. So while our days are still warm, it's noticeably dry, and that nice coolness at night. So I've noticed my skin is just much drier. Because it's cooler, we may not be hydrating enough, so we'll get dehydrated a little more easily, so we'll become drier. The skin is a big organ that Vata affects. So in our minds, if Vata's out, we can be more susceptible to feeling fearful, to being anxious, to feeling overwhelmed or worried. And Debbie was just telling me, she said, I've just been rushing a lot. I've just been hurrying. And that's an out of balance Vata, when we can't calm down. Now, I think, well, I'm kind of 24/7, 365 out of balance Vata, because I tend to rush and hurry unless I'm practicing balance better. It can show up as physical pain as well, more aches, a little more, physical aches and pains in the body as well. It can show up as insomnia. Now, given since COVID, the sort of shutdown in March, and then everything else that's happened in the world, insomnia is just a kind of fact. People are having trouble, but I've seen reports on this, but that's Vata out of balance as well. So how do we help to balance it? Well, one thing is to eat more warm and cooked foods, not hot, not necessarily spicy. If you can handle it, that's fine, but warm and cooked foods. So while the weather's still warm, I'm realizing I'm no longer wanting my fresh, crunchy salads that I were, but yet it's not quite cold enough for me to think about making baked squash and, nice warm stews and things like that. But I do need to go more towards cooked and warm. Warm drinks, so either room temperature water or lots of teas. Golden milk is a great thing to do before bed. You can either make it, look it up. You can make your recipes. You can do it with dairy or almond milk or any sort of nut milk that you want. To slow down, we'll do that in this practice. To create a routine. So I don't know about you, but while I've always kind of worked from home and had an uneven routine, I didn't realize how much routine I had until it all got taken away. And that I actually had routines of going to the Y here and doing this and that and my regular routines. And it's all kind of been shut down for me. So trying to pull back a routine, I've been trying to get up at the same time every morning and try to go to bed near the same, or at least head to bed if I don't go to sleep. Massage is great. And it's safe to have a massage. We have two wonderful massage therapists here, Lele and Norma's a new person. She is amazing. They wear a mask. It's like going to the doctor. I mean, it's as clean as that. And if you don't have a hug a lot, you really need to get, and even if you do, getting touched in a massage way is so good for moving all of that energy out. Moderate exercise. So we're going to do a grounding practice today, and you'll notice that we are pushing the thigh bone, the head of the thigh bone, towards the back of the hip socket. We'll be doing a lot of that, and then stretching out in the hips and the quadriceps, because those get so tight. We want the pelvis to move so there's more water in our life. When the pelvis is frozen, and you'll see that people, they do cat-cow, and they do it with the upper body. Nothing moves in the pelvis. So when we live in harmony with nature, we are living essentially from our heart. And when we do that, we recognize that we are one with nature, that we are not different, we're separate. And so we recognize our joy and our sense of well-being from that. So we're going to try to pull some of that together. And certainly, if you guys want to pitch in the middle of class and ask something or say something, feel free. We're just on it today. I'm just feeling it. So I'm going to put this near you, Debbie, because we're doing some pranayama, not heavy. So we don't want to do a lot of Kapalabhati during this time when your Vata feels out of balance. We'll be doing the slow breath, but you may either want to do it with your mask, or I'm going to hold a tissue because I just don't want the aerosols to be shooting around. So you can do either. All right. So, if you've got a ball, come to stand. If you do not have a ball, stay seated, and you will massage your feet out with your thumbs. So if you have a ball of any kind, come to standing, we'll work the feet. So if we want a grounding practice, we have to ground the feet. The feet just sometimes, so you're pushing Sometimes if you keep the heel and you take a wide stance, you can also hold on to a wall if you're feeling, you know, Vata, if your physical balance is out of whack. I say that I struggle to stand on 2 feet, let alone 1. So that's a Vata thing going on. So if you do not have a ball, you'll sit and just start to work in the bottom of your feet with your thumbs, your knuckles, really massage it. Oh. So you work the inner arches, particularly tender. How's that squishy ball? Does that work for you? Okay, good. I think it's a dog ball that I found in a dollar store or something like that. I liked it. So we all have to find when I handed Debbie this hard spike ball that I used, she just went, oh no, she knew that was gonna like send her to another planet. So we have to, a tennis ball works well, it's a little softer. Lacrosse ball's a little harder, golf balls can work. And then pause and stand, notice. We'll be doing, I like to stand and notice anyway. We'll do a lot of that today, just to slow ourselves down. And notice in the times when I ask you to slow down, to notice if the mind starts to jump around, that can happen. Starts to make a list or tell you what it needs to tell you. Change sides. Rub out or roll out the second one. Again, you can massage it. And if you're massaging it, you're working the thumbs into the bottom of the foot, and turning, then wiggling the toes and kind of giving them a pull, and rake your knuckles down the sole of the foot. But this ball is starting to wake me up here. The spikes kind of, yeah, the spikes up. Yes. That's why we have multiple sizes, right? One size does not fit all. And you roll it, push it, work it out. Wake up the foot. Wake up. All right, send it off. Take your strap. It can be a strap or a stretchy band. It matters not. At home, we're doing a strap here. And be careful of the buckle. So I was doing this week, I guess, and my strap was dangling and the cat was like, you know, thinking, oh good, she wants to play. And it was like, well, no. All right, so to the degree you can, you may have to open up. This is where a stretchy band makes it a little bit easier. Oh, I have to open up a little bit. Oh, yesterday I could, without bending the elbows, see if you can get. And notice one arm wants to pull you up. So you can have it kind of hit your head even and have to lift it up over your head. Try as best you can not to bend the elbows unless you're feeling intense pain, and then bend your elbows. Oh. For me, that's huge. So if we want more breath, if we want the breath to be fuller, more easeful, got to open up the muscles in the front of the chest and the back of the chest. And then the next time your hands are back, choke up a bit on it so that you're fairly close, maybe a foot apart, not very far. Again, if your shoulders have an injury or you're really uncomfortable, then the feet are grounded, legs are strong but soft, inner thighs move in, back, and apart, and the tailbone lengthens. Engage your core and just lift. Oh. Little mini lowers, mini lifts. Lift on your inhale, exhale, just soften. So it's just a slight, not a big up and down, just a little. Increase the stretch, let off the stretch. Now what will happen here, the tendency is to drop the head forward. You can keep the top and bottom of the ears moving back evenly, and the chin just ever so slightly tucked. Not dropped, but just not lifted. That Goldilocks right in the middle. Oh, and that's enough. Keep the strap, you will need it. And just stand for a moment and notice. Close the eyes. For me, I feel a tingling in the arms after that. The shoulders feel a little more awake. And melt your way to the floor. Have your strap near you. So I often do this at the end of class, But since we're doing a lot of resetting of the thigh bones, we'll start this here. So you can either have one level of the strap or two, and place it behind the right thigh. So you're not on the foot, you're behind the right thigh. Then snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you, get your low back curve. So the right leg is bent for now. And you do as little work. So I find that if I make a loop, then my hand's in the loop, I can just pull it. I don't have to grab it. My hands don't really like to grab. And then I make a loop here, hug it with my thumb and pull it up so the fingers don't have to work quite so hard. You're in the middle of the thigh and you're pulling the thigh towards the chest, but the thigh's pressing into the belt so you get a low back curve. Side ribs move towards the floor. That's another way of saying drop your belly button towards the floor, take your xiphoid, bottom tip of your sternum towards your tailbone. So you want a little lift in the low back waist. It's not smashed against the floor. So there's a couple of options here. You can stay here or you can straighten. If you start to collapse the low back to the floor, then let the leg come out away from you a little bit so you can keep the low back curve. You can keep your left leg bent, or if it's straight, engage it like you're standing on it, and then it's a gentle push of the thigh. You shouldn't have to work too hard. If you're feeling this all in the shoulders and the hands and the jaw, you're just working too hard. Back off. And then put your left knee again. You can put the belt to the side or you can use it. Cross into the number 4 cross. What's really nice for those of you who are at home to do this with the foot on the wall, then the hands don't have to work at all. But if you're working here, then you pull up, nuzzle your right elbow to your inner right thigh, get your low back curve again, at least the remembrance of it, shoulder blades snuggle on the back, and drop the chin ever so slightly. We tend to kick the chin up as well. We're not tucking it. Keep a natural curve in the back of the waist. So just an easy one here. We're not that warm. Just keeping it smooth. Stretch both legs out. Stretch the arms overhead and pause. Notice any difference. Slow it down. Bend both knees. Repeat on side B. The strap goes around the middle of the thigh. Find a way to do as little work as you can in your hands and your shoulders, just enough to keep it. So I'm making a sling here with the strap and then letting the back of the thigh just push into it a bit. It helps you increase your low back curve, particularly on that side, the left side. So where the left foot is, really just play with it. The foot can be down close to the bum, like just relax the leg and push the thigh in. Maybe up the shin parallel with the floor, or you can straighten it. And if straightening it causes you to move the sit bones towards the ceiling and lower the back waist to the floor, then let the leg come away from you a little bit and keep against it. Right leg can stay bent or straight, your choice. Relax your jaw, relax your neck. Relax the hands and shoulders as best you can. Find a way to not have to work so hard. It's not so much, it's about efforting, over efforting. It's wanting to do well. So this is a practice for me. It's a hard practice. Bend your right knee, come into the number 4. You can still use the strap around the back of the right thigh or hold on. It just depends on what's going on in your shoulders and your hands. Or the right foot can be on the wall and you don't use your arms at all. It's my favorite way. If you've got whether you've got your foot on the wall or the hands behind the thigh, the left elbow pushes the inner left thigh away from the left side of the belly. There's a little more hip opening. And then release. stretch out long. There we go. All right. Draw your knees into your chest. Come around to hands and knees. So we'll do this block on the thigh lunge. And where the block is going to go, I'll show you from here. When I'm in the lunge, the block is right above the knee, about 2 or 3 fingers, not on the knee, but the edge of the block is going to go right here. I'll show you what that looks like. So we'll start with the left leg back first. And the block's here. And then you rest, not way back on the thigh, but just above the knee. It can be pretty tender. So scream if you need to. Then the hands on either side. Or if the fingertips don't come to the floor easily, you can have both hands on the inside and use a block here. But let the weight of your thigh rest on the block. And take your time. Breathe. Let the thigh rest there more. So what this is doing at the bottom where the quadriceps, and the quadriceps are a group of muscles, as they come and feed into the knee, I'm just releasing the fascia there. Tender it can be, yes? It doesn't have to be. If you're feeling nothing, then be grateful. Your turn will come. So for really tall people, if you can do a taller tower here. So Mary, I don't know if you need this or whether you can come all the way down. This takes your front block away, but it does relieve some of the discomfort for tall people. So we give it time. And then step back to an easy dog. Oh. And notice, do you see it, sense any difference between the 2 legs? Well, I do. What's interesting to me is that my left hamstring feels looser. The right hamstring feels tighter. But I was working on the left leg. Don't get it. All right. Find some way, graceful or not, to step your left foot forward. Now, just above the right knee is on the block. Oh. Then you can bring the arms on the inside, or if you've got 3 blocks and you need blocks on either side, you can do that, or the block here. Yeah, and then you can try not to pull all your weight on your hands, so pull it off. If you've got the hands on the fingertips, this works too, or you can bring the fingertips on the inside, but take the weight off the hands as best you can. Even if you've got a fair bit of weight on the block, with the hands on the block, try to pull up and away from the block. Oh. Now, isn't it interesting? Notice if you feel this differently on this side. Like one side, you might feel it more on the top of the thigh. On this side, I tend to feel it more right here on the left hip, and particularly the inner thigh. Very interesting. So when Vata gets out of alignment, we're no longer curious in a way. We're just running from one thing to the other. The chicken with the head cut off is a great image. When we calm Vata down and get it back in balance, we become curious. We go, huh, that's interesting. I wonder why that's doing that. Very cool. Oh, keep letting the right thigh get heavier and heavier on the block. This is a really great therapeutic if you're having some problems in the hips, and helps to reset, or the SI joint. This helps to reset the sacrum. All right, step back, down dog. And notice the difference. Let it flood through come down to hands and knees. We'll do thread the needle, and there's 2 ways to do it. Mary suggests that you do it where you're in child's pose. I think you already do it this way. And you thread the right arm under the left. So that's an option. If it doesn't bother the neck, you come down with your hip over your knees. It knees a bit. It's not as much of a knee stretch. And if your hips are above your knees, then you can stretch the left leg out. I find a deeper stretch if I keep the left. So in any case, you don't want to put any stress or pressure on the neck. And breathe the stretch. If it becomes uncomfortable at any point, adjust it. Take care of yourself. Come back out and change to the other side, either from child's pose or from table pose. You choose. And notice here that my twists always feel different on each side because I don't treat my sides equally. The right side, when I'm driving, I'm doing different things with the right side. I do different things all the time. So the sides get out of balance. Just notice what likes being stretched on this side. And then inhale your way back up. Lie all the way on your belly. Find your strap before you get all the way down. Put the strap behind you and hold on to it as we did when we were standing. Rest your forehead or your chin on the floor. Lift one leg just slightly and stretch it long behind you. The inner edge of the inner thighs moving up towards the ceiling as the outer right hip is moving down. Then do the same thing with the other side. Left leg long so the inner thighs are lifting up and the outer hips are moving down towards the floor. And breathe. Shrug your shoulders toward your ears. Lift the head of the arm bones and then pull the strap apart, and as though someone were pulling you back from your wrist, lift up. Widen your legs about mat width apart. Click all 10 toenails down. Baby toenail wants to peel up, so click it down as you lift up and breathe. Inhale, little lift. Exhale, tiny lower. Just a little pulsation. And release. Slide the strap off to the side. Plant your hands on either side of your chest. Keep your legs long. Click all 10 toenails down. Lift your inner thighs towards the ceiling or the sky, depending on if you're practicing outside. And the outer hips move down towards the floor. Shrug the shoulders. Lift the head of the arm bones. Even though the legs are wide, hug them to the midline without peeling your baby toes up. And then lift up, even if it's a tiny little lift. Shrug the shoulders, hug the elbows back, pull the hands back as you stretch up. And breathe. Wide-legged down dog, so keep your feet about mat width apart. Wide legs, bend and push from the hands all the way up into the heart. Bend your knees, hug your heels towards each other. That helps you widen the knees, so the knees get almost as wide as the ankles. Then you can push the back
in, back, and apart. The inner thighs go towards where your bum is facing, and widen the inner thighs, like consciously try to widen them like crazy into that space. Then the tailbone lengthens. Nice. Whew. And walk your hands back to your toes. Forward bend at the back of your mat. Half bend or full forward bend. And then lower down to come to your favorite sitting position, cross-legged or hero plank or not. You decide, but come to sit. You can sit in a chair. You can sit anywhere. Dr. Seuss. Do a nice manual inner rotation. And here's where we'll do Nadi Shodhana. So Nadi Shodhana is what's called the sweet breath. It's not powerful, it's not strong. You don't want to do anything that gets you agitated, but we want to warm gently. So you'll take usually the right hand, but if you're left-handed and you're more comfortable using the left hand, just use the hand that works for you. You have the thumb, ring finger on either side of your nose. The index finger and the middle finger fold in, and the baby finger and the ring finger kind of come together. If that's really weird for you, you can always just do it any way you want to. This is classic mudra. Then you're on either side of your nose, and we will start, the sun side is the right side, the moon side is the left. So since it's daytime and morning, we'll start with an inhale on the right. I'm just going to cover mine here. So take a nice inhale and a slow exhale through both nostrils. Close the left and inhale right. Close both. Open left and exhale left. Very slow. Inhale left. Close both. Exhale right. So continue that. If you get mixed up, just start over again. And do the best you can to lengthen the exhale, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the one that says, you're okay, we're safe, it's all right. So alternate nostril, Nadi Shodhana, sweet breath. If your shoulder arm gets tired, it may be hiking it up or putting more energy. You can also take the other hand and rest the elbow into it if that helps you relax the shoulder. Otherwise, it's just a natural, easy hold. Continue. The next time you exhale through the right, inhale through both, and then just sit for a moment. Eyes closed, or you can do a soft gaze on something right in front of you if closing the eyes creates a tension in you. So you want to stay soft. So the eyes can be half open, half closed, focusing on nothing, gazing at one thing, or completely closed. Deepen your inhale, flutter your eyes open, and come to hands and knees. Take your blanket or towel and make as tight a roll as possible. The tighter the better. You'll notice if it's not tight, it'll flatten out and squash out. If you're by the pool, you can use a pool noodle. That works pretty well too if you've got one. And come to standing. So place both balls of the feet on the roll. Now I find that it's a little more comfortable if my feet are a little wider than hip width apart. Coming together sometimes can be hard on the balance. Heels are on the floor, balls of the feet are on the roll. Lift and spread the toes, press through the four corners of the feet, hug the heels towards each other energetically to engage the inner thigh muscles and pull the knees apart. Press your shins forward energetically. Keep the knees kind of back over the ankles so you're not pressing the knees forward. Inner thighs now back and wide apart as you either come to start with half forward bend. You can use the blocks to where you're in upside L. Notice the tendency is to lock the knees or knock the knees in towards the center. So you want to hug the heels towards each other so the knees come out even. Keep breathing, and you may find that the body just naturally wants to go deeper, or you stay in half forward bend, upside down letter L. If you want to go deeper, keep checking the heels hug in, inner thighs move back and up, tailbone lengthens, as the heart moves towards the toes. Keep the belly up and in. Holy moly. Forward bends, so they help calm the nervous system, but they require a lot of patience because we're so tight. And then inhale, keep the left foot on the roll, step your right leg back, and you can place the block somewhere. It's kind of it should be right where the roll is, but you can pull it a bit behind it or over to the side. There we go. Or place the hand on the blanket. The left hand presses the top of the left thigh and you spin towards the left, stacking your shoulders on top of each other. Back heel is up. Yeah, so the right hand's on the floor or the roll, whatever's easier, or a block. And then if it's right for you today, stretch the left arm towards the sky and open completely. Take the heart up towards the sky. And then exhale, release. And here's where you may want both blocks. Step your back foot up a little bit, keep the heel high, and straighten the front leg. Runner's stretch. Keep pressing the ball of the left foot into the roll, and then scissor the legs together. The back toes isometrically pull forward, front heel pulls back. Keep that inner thighs move back and apart as the tailbone lengthens, and you do a little bit with the legs. As much as you're pulling them together, now push them apart evenly. Keep the balance right in the middle. And then fold as deeply as you want, or keep it with the back parallel roughly to the floor. Nice. Step the right foot up to the roll. Notice the difference. Hug the heels towards each other so the knees pull apart over the ankles. Keep that. Micro bend the knees, the shins energetically press forward as the inner thighs move back and apart. Oh my gosh. Fold forward. Now, side B. Step your left leg back. Move my roll over so I have room here. Feet are still hip width apart on railroad tracks, not on tightrope. The left hand can be on a block, it can be on the floor, it can be on part of the blanket. The right hand then presses into the top of the right thigh. So scissor the legs in before we begin the twist. Inner thighs move in, back, and apart, particularly on the back leg. Tailbone lengthens, so the right sit bone moves towards your inner right heel. And spin the torso into that strength. You spin the torso, stacking shoulder on shoulder, and stretch the arm up if it's there for you. And breathe here. Notice if you're trying to pull the top arm back too far, pull it forward so you can see it in your peripheral vision. Don't let it go behind your head. And inhale, release. Maybe both blocks on either side, or your hands might go to the floor. Step your back foot up a tiny bit, lift the back heel high so you can straighten the front leg. You can do this with long spine parallel-ish to the floor, or you can start to fold more deeply. Notice if you have a tendency to lock the knees, the front knee, press the shin energetically forward, release that lock. Deep, deep forward bends. Great, now move the roll out from under you and turn wide-legged. You can turn towards me. You can step your other foot forward, Debbie. Take a wide stance. You may or may not want your blocks underneath you. Again, start with the back roughly parallel to the floor. So lift all 10 toes, press through the 4 corners of the feet, and notice that the outer edge of the foot tends to be lighter, so ground it, settle it, drag it in. Hug the inner edges of the feet towards each other as you're pulling the outer edges of the feet away from each other. Now that will keep me busy for a while. You can go deeper, stay here, or go deeper, where the hands can be, where the hands start to between the feet, and you lengthen the heart towards the floor. Oh, deep, deep, wide-legged forward bend. And then slowly come to your knees. So this can either be done, Eileen, I'm thinking of your knees here. You may not do it this way. You may do this on your back, same thing. But if sitting in a regular child's pose, that's with knees, thigh bones roughly parallel, works for you. We're not wide knees in, we're just straight. You will want a block for your head. So if this is, we'll fold over, but if any part of this is uncomfortable, roll onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. It's like child's pose on your back. But here, and if you do this on your back, you can put your fist here, or you can put a blanket across here. But if you're sitting up, take your fist, rage against the night, right? Pull the fist, like start them and pull them up and in into the low belly. And then exhale as you fold forward. Oh, rest your forehead on the block, whatever height you want the block to be. And now breathe into the fists that are digging into your low belly. So if you're doing this on your back, it looks like this. You'll take a blanket, place it right in the hip crease, pull in, and pull here. You still get, so this is about the belly, not so much about killing the knees. And breathe. This can be very intense. And notice how the breath moves through this. It can be choppy at first without forcing it. See if you can invite it, the breath, to slow down a little bit, to relax. Your belly still inhales and pushes into your hands, and exhale, pulls up and away from your fist. And inhale. Sit up. All right. All right, make a roll again. We're just going back and forth here. We'll do a malasana, a squat. So this can be done halfway. You can support yourself any way you want to, but you'll put your heels on the blanket, start wide, and as you hug the heels towards each other, the inner thighs move back and apart, and then just come halfway. So this is one version. You might be able to come all the way down. The elbows push the knees apart, and the knees say, no, don't get so bossy. So have your little inner puppet show. I've been doing puppets with the 6-year-olds, and we've been making these great little paper puppets. They're so easy, they're so much fun. And then we started making some little hand puppets as well. So they're just having puppet shows. So my inner puppet show is move apart knees, and the knees say no. If this is killing your knees, then come up. Don't come down quite so far. And release. Come to sit, Come to sit on, I like to sit on an edge of a blanket here for Janu Shirshasana. Come on, baby. So your right leg is long and parallel with the long edge of the mat. Bend the left knee, and open the left knee and pull the heel as close in toward hips as possible. If that hurts the knee, this is your volume control. You just slide it down a bit. You may or may want your strap here, but in any case, get yourself set, and the foot's pressing against the straight leg is pushing against the foot. Do a nice manual inner rotation. Oh. And then perch up. So if sitting up causes you to round, then lean back in like your lawn chair just ratchets back a bit. You're working towards lifting up and rolling the sits bones over towards the front. You can take the strap around and then slide the hands down the strap. So you're not reaching forward, you're pulling back, like you're rowing or holding a, I don't know enough about horses now. You're more forward here. I push on the gas a little bit with the straight leg foot, the right foot, as the inner thighs go in, back, and apart, and you keep pulling the heart, lift up and out of the hips, not collapsing, up and the heart arcs over towards the toes. Micro bend your straight leg knee, your right knee, so it's not locked and you're not feeling this right in behind the knee. And you just come as far forward as you want. Next inhale, lose the strap, open the right leg, the left leg out. Yeah, right leg, sorry, out to the right. I skipped it, I'm not mirroring, sorry. And then stretch out in the middle. So you're coming straight out of your hips, not going to either leg, straight out. So yeah, Debbie, you'll be going off more towards that back corner a little bit. Yeah, not quite towards the knee, but yeah, there you go. I guess towards the iPad, yes. There you go. Where you were to begin with, right? All right, again, lengthen the spine, roll to the frontmost and innermost edge of the sits bone. So right now, I pay attention to the spine to feel discomfort right here in the inner knee. And that's because I was locking the knee. So I have to dig the heel in, pull the heel back, even bend the knee to where it's noticeably bent, and step on the gas a little bit, and I move the stretch up here. Right, so you don't want it right here. That's an insertion or an origination point, and that's not good. You're not stretching muscle there. And release. Draw the straight back in front of you, cross the bent leg over. You can do this with a straight leg or bend the bottom leg. Pull the belly in and turn towards the bent leg side. A nice seated twist. Inhale, find length, and exhale, twist. So when things get crazy out there, when the winds start to blow, we become less thoughtful. We're scattered, right? Like the leaves get scattered in the winds as the leaves begin to drop off. So we counter that. We want to balance it. We want the airiness, the enthusiasm. It's just when that gets out of balance, we're just not the fullest, richest, most abundant person we can be. And then come back to center. Do all that with the other side. Straighten your other leg. Bend the previously straight leg. Open it out. Decide where you may have if this knee, the foot goes, it can go all the way to the ankle. It's somewhere between the ankle and up close to, and stretch. So first just lengthen. And then to stretch for the foot. If reaching for the foot is easy, do that. Otherwise, strap, but pull the strap back so you can pull your heart. I like this one. Even though I can reach my toes, I tend to there. So if I'm back, I can pull the heart forward, keep a curve in the low back, step on the gas with the ball of the straight leg foot, and bow forward. Or not. So this may be where you need to be right here. You're saying, I'm feeling it. Again, notice if you're feeling this behind the knee. And if you aren't, micro bend the knee and dig the heel in more and step on the gas more. Forward bend. A lot of them did because we need them. Now open leg out, so you're in a wider position, and go straight out of the hips. And notice that the straight leg sit bone wants to lift off the floor or the blanket. Put it back down, ground it, settle it. And notice where you're feeling the stretch here. So I'm feeling it here, right in the middle of the thigh. I'm not feeling it in behind there. That's what you want. So if tilting forward makes you round the back, sit up straight for it. This works as well. Even leaning back in the lawn chair, as long as the spine is long, that we're not slumping down. You can take a fuller, deeper breath when the spine is long. And you're using the obliques and the quadratus lumborum, all of these side muscles to lift you up rather than collapse. Good. And then bring the straight leg back in front of you, bend the knee. It can stay here or it can cross over, lift up. Lengthen on the inhale, exhale, twist the torso. The head's not spinning around too tightly. You can begin to turn, but you're turning it from the back of the head, not so much the chin. It's lengthening. You're really focusing on the ribs turning. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, ribs twist a little bit more. Nice. And then sit. So we'll do a little more Nadi Shodhana before final relaxation. So sit any way that's comfortable, cross leg or hero. My knees seem to like hero better. But find a seated. You can do this on a chair. You can do it anywhere. Make yourself comfortable. So we'll do Nadi Shodhana again, one round, and then the second round, I'll show you before you to your happy place because I don't want you to have to like use your brain too much. The second round is imaginary Nadi Shodhana, where you're inhaling through the right, thinking about you're not closing it off. You're just thinking about inhaling right, exhaling left, inhaling left, exhaling right, but your hands show it. So like blossoms, like lilies, lotuses, this one. When I'm inhaling, the palms open. And then as I hold it here, this one closes and the next one, the left one, opens as I exhale. Inhale, lift up, it closes. So you're just very gently and lovingly closing one and then the other. But the first one will do regular Nadi Shodhana. So gentle inhale, exhale to begin. Next, inhale, close the left. Inhale, right. Close both. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Close both. Exhale, right. You do this at your own pace, but as slow as you can go without forcing anything. So if you start to force the exhale to be slower than you're ready, I just find that the more relaxed I am, the easier it is for the breath to lengthen. If counting helps, if sometimes if the mind gets very active, if the Vata imbalance is showing up for you as a scritchy, scratchy, overactive mind, then counting can help. Just count the inhales, count the exhales. Doesn't matter what the counts are, just count them. How long it takes you to inhale, how long it takes you to exhale. And the next time you exhale out the right, release the hand to the thighs and turn the palms up. So now you've got the lotus blossoms. Close both. It's a gentle fist, not a hard fist, but just closing of the blossom. As you inhale right, open the right palm. Start to close the right palm as you exhale left and open the left palm. As you inhale left, the palm stays open, but starts to close as you reach the top of the inhale. And then exhale right, open the right palm. Continue at your own pace. And you'll notice that it really does feel like you're breathing in and out one side of the nostril more when you focus. So if Vata imbalance causes us to lose focus, be scattered, then this is a beautiful practice to begin to slow the mind down, slow the breath down, and recover your focus. It's like the breath breathes on the lotus blossom as you exhale on it and it begins to open. And as you inhale, you're pulling the petals back closed again and exhaling into the other palm, the other blossom. And the next time you exhale out the right, inhale through both and exhale through both. And slowly find your way to your back for final relaxation. Make yourself comfortable. Cover up if you're in a place where you're cool. Put a blanket or a couple of blocks under the back of your knees if you want it. Oh, but settle in. Rest is so important here. Deep rest. So you do what you can do. We're starting acupuncture again next Monday, right? Yes, next Monday. And it's perfectly safe. You can wear a mask. Mark will have a mask. You're not moving around. We'll limit how many come. They'll be at least 6 feet apart, if not more. But the acupuncture can really help to reset your doshas. Begin to deepen your breath. Invite gentle movement, stretching, anything you need as you wake up. And eventually rolling to one side and resting there for a few moments. And gathering it all in, use the strength of your arms to press yourself up to a seated position. Draw your palms together in front of your heart center. Thank you guys so much for practicing my Vata balancing class. I hope it's helped for you as well. And great to have Debbie here. Namaste.